In this video, we're going to take a look at how to model the miniature train wheel. And as always, with every part you create, you want to go through and create a new component. In the component name, we will call this wheel and say OK. That will make it the active component. I'm going to create a sketch. And the one thing I'm going to focus on is creating a sketch that would go through noted from the section view that is on the drawing. So I'm going to select actually what they call the XY plane, which is the one that's parallel to the top of the view cube that we have. So I'm going to select it. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my line tool and I'm going to draw a profile and I'm going to cross over. I'm not going to use the origin in this case. I will, but I'm going to actually go through and be kind of purposely not connecting this sketch at the beginning to the origin. And I'm going to right click, I'm going to say OK. Now here you'll notice the red line kind of runs through the middle, and we'll go through and kind of look at that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the horizontal vertical command. Choosing the origin, I'm going to hold the shift key on my keyboard and I'm going to find the midpoint on this vertical line. And you'll notice that it'll show up by having an X with a little triangle. So noting that's going to be the midpoint. From here, I can go ahead and put in some dimensions. So as noted by the drawing, so from the center here to this first line, we're going to leave a space open for the hole. Now the hole is going to have a diameter of 0.280, and I'm going to, since we're again kind of going to do a revolution, a section, we're going to divide by 2, and I'm going to hit enter. So that's going to kind of size our sketch down, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that dimension a little closer. I'm going to continue to go over. So from the origin, I want to go over to this next vertical line. This will be 0.25. From the origin to the next vertical line, 0.75. And then from the origin to the final vertical line, 1 inch. From here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the overall width of this, or depth I should say, 0.25. And then one thing I might want to do while I've seen what's happening here is I'm going to grab under constraints, collinear. I'm going to choose this horizontal line and this horizontal line to make those collinear with each other. And then from here to here, 0.125. And this will give me a fully constrained sketch. Under the create panel, I'm going to choose the arc tool. I'm going to choose the center point arc. And right in the center for my arc, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this next corner and I'm going to draw the arc around to the other corner. You could also do this utilizing a circle, but you're going to see I get 2 separate profiles. So I just went center point arc right on the center of the line, click this corner, went over until it connected to the next corner. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish the sketch, put it in the home position. And one thing that I'm going to go ahead and take a look at doing is I'm going to revolve. I'm going to choose both of the shapes for the profiles, and under axis I'm going to choose select. When I choose select, I want to choose this green line to be as the axis, and here will be the starting of the train wheel. I will go ahead and say OK, and from here I'm going to use the fillet command, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose 4 edges on this part. I want to choose this edge here on the inside. I want to, on the middle portion, I want to choose this edge, circle, and I want to choose this edge. And I want to make those to be 0.0625. So that way those round those edges down a little bit for us. And then I will go ahead and say, OK. So this gets a pretty good portion of our wheel created for us. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose Create Sketch. I'm going to choose the inside face that's highlighted here. Drawing a line from the origin. I'm going to draw one out over here to the right, and I'm going to just go ahead and draw it out to an arbitrary length. Now, I want to go ahead and I want to select this line, and I'm going to right click and I want to choose Normal / Construction. And then what I'm also going to do is under Constraints, I want to choose the Fix, which is a little lock icon, and I want to select that line to be able to fix it. So that way that line cannot go, it can go a little bit, it can change length, but I can't move it up or down or anything like that. It has to stay in line on the x-axis. Taking my line tool from the origin, I'm going to draw a line out like this. Again, arbitrary length. I'm going to draw another line out like this at an angle. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run my dimension command. From that horizontal line up to the first angled line, this will be 15 degrees. From the angled line, first angled line to the second one, I'm going to make this one 30. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to create, go down to arc, and choose center point arc, choosing the origin as my center point. I want to go ahead, I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to strike a line to go across those two lines I had. I'm going to click the center again, and I'm going to strike another one to go across those two. To clean this up a little bit, using the trim command, I'm going to trim away the excess lines that I don't need. So for example, I probably could get rid of the ends of these two lines, and I'll trim these back until we only have where the line just comes here. I'm going to leave these two here at the bottom because they are helping keeping us constrained. So the only thing I have left to do, dimension, this arc, 0.375, the bigger arc, 0.625. From here I can go ahead and say finish the sketch, extrude, clicking the shape, that little kind of square shape there in the middle, and I want to drag back, and I'm going to say a distance of all, and say OK. So it gives me one cutout for my train wheel. Under the Create panel, I'm going to go down to Pattern, choosing Circular Pattern. Then I want to go under the type, I want to choose Features. And if I go to the model, I can actually select the opening, or I could select the last extrusion in the model history tree. Selecting the axis, hit select, and then I could also choose either the outside of the wheel, I could choose this, the green line right here like I did before. Either one will go through and pattern you around. The quantity will be 6, and then I will say OK. And that will pattern our wheel there. Our last part will be the connector component. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say create sketch, choose the same face again. I'm going to draw a circle over here to the right of the origin, and I'm going to make it just a little bit small so that way it doesn't connect to anything. Dimensioning, I want to go ahead and first off, actually I want to hit horizontal vertical, choosing the origin, choosing the center of the circle. Dimension, I want to choose the center of the origin to the center of the circle. This one, I'll drag this up above, will be 0.7. And then I want to choose the diameter of the circle. So the diameter of that outside circle will be 0.25. And I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to go ahead and put this in this orientation. When I click extrude, I do need to click both portions of the circle. And I need to extrude at a distance of 0.375. Now it may try to cut under the operation. I'm going to hit the drop down. I'm going to choose join, and I will say OK. So that way it does not cut out material. Okay, next one, I'm going to create a sketch on the circular face of what we just extruded. Clicking the circle command, I'm going to just hover over the outside edge of this circle, and it will pick up the center. So a little kind of blue circle will show up there. And I'm going to make this a diameter of 0.125. And I will go ahead and say finish sketch. Extrude, choosing that circle, that extrusion depth will be 0.125, and I can say OK. Last portion, using the hole command, selecting the circular face on the end there. Okay. Here I might want to go through and make a few changes here, so I'm going to go ahead and change the hole type back to simple, and I want to go ahead and set in the distance. So the distance that is going to be drilled in 0.25. The diameter is 0.0625. And in order to make sure that this is concentric, I just have to click on the outside edge of the circle, and it will go through and do that. Flat drill point, and then I can go ahead and say OK. That will put the hole in for my train wheel. All right, this video now finishes up how to create the train wheel. Let's make sure that we go through and click the save button. we'll name this wheel, click save. Again, at this point, if you double check your data panel, now you should have 3 parts in the data panel. Each one of the parts has its own file and is able to go through and be assembled for later.